How do you find the right words to honour a man who was never lost for them? Bert Newton was a huge star. He was never outshone and never tried to steal the show. And now he's gone. We are all trying to find the words.
We have lost the greatest television performer that Australia has ever produced.
It's a track record that won't be equalled again. It was quite unique.
Just a lovely man, you know, who had a great deal of talent.
Ladies and gentlemen, Albert Watson Newton.
In Australia, you know you've made it when you're on a first-name basis with the whole country. And there will only ever be one Bert.
1978 gold Logie winner, Bert Newton.
It's Bert Newton.
Bert Newton.
A television treasure since the box first fired up, Bert Newton was part of the family for most of us, having delivered so many memorable moments into our lounge rooms.
The fleecy cloud may kiss the sky. The rose may kiss the butterfly. The evening mist may kiss the grass. And you, my friend, good health.
Bert's yellow brick road to stardom began in working-class surrounds. One of 5 children born in 1938 to Gladys and Joseph in inner-city Melbourne. His career would begin on radio while moonlighting on stage, and this was where future colleague John Michael Howson would first see Bert at a Melbourne cabaret venue in the 1950s.
Bert was the band singer, believe it or not. Now, we'd never seen Bert, and this very handsome young man came out, and he had a wonderful voice, and he enthralled the audience.
The young man's presence wouldn't go unnoticed by executives in the newly founded television industry. Bert first joining Channel 7 and then Channel 9, where Graham Kennedy ruled the airwaves.
Including Biff's latest snack, pussy. Yes, now you can buy pussy in a can.
So the story goes, Bert had been hired to do daytime TV. But one night at the last minute, he was asked to fill in with Graham on In Melbourne Tonight for a 30-second live commercial. The segment would last more than 20 minutes, and an iconic and beloved prime-time partnership was born.
Yes, that's amazing, isn't it, what they've done?
Well, look at the difference.
Oh,
That's
yes.
tremendous.
Which is the one that's...
That's the one.
And this is the new one?
This is the new one. That's the old one.
Oh, you can see what's happened there.
What's that?
Nothing very much.
No.
The sponsor was horrified and rang up and said, I'm not going to put up with this on the very first night it happened. The next morning, he couldn't supply enough shoes to the shops. So that turned them round completely.
Pete Smith was an up-and-coming announcer in those days and would form a friendship with Bert that would last a lifetime.
He was just the dearest friend of all time, and in all those years, Bert Newton never said a bad word about anybody. And he'd met them all.
A golden age in TV that Kennedy himself would remember fondly in one of his last on-screen appearances in 1994.
The show was full of commercials that let's make them as amusing as possible. But the whole thing, you know, it was just chatty and funny, and a commercial could go on for 4 or 5 minutes and then...
Or as we've covered, sometimes even longer.
Oh, Anchorfield stores wet in the container, a handy plastic glove box pack. May I pull mine out? I wish you would. See, I've got one too. Pete has one of these. His is the same size as mine. Hey, wait on, mine... Mine stretches, yeah.
But behind the scenes of In Melbourne Tonight, another partnership was growing, one that would prove even dearer than that of Bert and Graham's.
We're making a star of Paddy McGraw.
Paddy McGrath was a singer and dancer who first met Bert in the radio days, and a chemistry would develop off-screen and on.
Like grass upon the wall.
Is that ass upon the lawn?
In the early 70s, Paddy took off to work abroad, and it was obvious Bert was missing her, even sending Paddy messages on air.
Her name is Paddy McGrath. She's working with Carolyn Pearce and Donna Reed at the Golden Garter in Manchester.
Eventually, in early 1974, Bert would follow his heart to New York, boarding a Caribbean-bound QE2 to ask for Paddy's hand. The power couple would marry later that year at Melbourne's St Dominic's Church, Camberwell, where an astonishing 10,000 fans would arrive uninvited to wish them well. The Newton clan expanding soon after with son Matthew and daughter Lauren.
If you don't know who he is by now, you will never know.
But it was months after the wedding that Bert's professional life would take another unforgettable turn with a new show hosted by a lanky Yank.
Bert Newton, everybody, say hello.
Playing comic sidekick to the smooth New Yorker, Bert's antics would entertain millions. His in-character entrances became as legendary as his wheel segment, which led to one moment few who ever saw it live can ever forget. Bert, dressed as Greek singer Demis Roussos, confronted on set by the real deal. Bert and Demis still laughing off those side-splitting scenes years later on Channel 10.
Just before you leave us, I have one thing to say to you, and of course, you probably can guess it. Thank you, my friend.
Bless you.
The relationship with Lane would endure also, the Aussie paying tribute to the American years later in one of Bert's 2 appearances as the subject of TV's This Is Your Life.
I can tell you honestly, I've not worked with anybody in television more generous than Don.
Also featuring that night, another television pioneer and dear friend of Bert's, Philip Brady.
Bert will never see his like again. He was one of a kind, and we all adored him.
But it was television's Night of Nights that Bert made his own, hosting the Logies 20 times, including one infamous showdown with boxing great Muhammad Ali.
I like the boy.
Did you say Roy or boy?
I like the boy. There's nothing wrong with saying that.
Roy.
Yeah. Hey, hang on. No, wait. I'll change religion. I'll do anything for you. I don't care.
And I was sitting in the front row, and when he said, I like the boy, Bert honestly didn't know what he'd said. And of course it turned into a memorable piece of television, and Muhammad Ali took it in good humour.
Minutes later, Ali would announce Bert as the Gold Logie winner, Bert's first of 4 golds throughout his career.
Bert Newton.
They've never been the same without him. They've never been the same. It was his show.
No stranger to the Logies himself, Eddie Maguire is now leading a push to rename the Gold in Bert's honour.
To have the General Excellence Award, the Gold Logie, just as you have the Academy Awards called Oscar, why wouldn't we call it the Bert? And in later life, he actually started to look like a Logie, didn't he, Bert? So it's almost a silhouette, and he would enjoy that so much.
In the 90s, Bert would join his 3rd network, as he recounted in his own way at the Logies in 2018.
I left Channel 9 after 28 years, went back to Channel 7 for a year, and then I left television and went to Channel 10.
Hosting Good Morning Australia on 10 for 14 years with a colourful cast of friends and contributors.
John Michaelhausen. Morning, John Michael. Good morning, Bert.
It was a wonderful experience working with Bert, and he was probably the one Australian television star that could have been a hit in America.
Before returning to 9 in the mid-2000s to front 20 to 1 and Family Feud, an easy hire for the then network CEO.
I got the opportunity to sit down with Bert and say, look, we'd like to get you to come back to Channel 9. And he loved it. It meant so much to him to come back to Channel 9.
In later life, Bert would face numerous health challenges, including quadruple bypass surgery after a heart attack in 2012 and a toe infection last year that would lead to the amputation of his left leg.
He got through the operation, it was huge.
But not even that could dull Bert's smile as he savoured his final days with his family. Among the last times we'd see Bert on screen would be, appropriately, at the Logies, where he'd pay tribute to his old staging partner, Graham Kennedy.
To have a look at those shots and see at work a master, a man who just, you know, brought to Australian television the greatest talent. I also thought Graham was very cool.
Bert was obviously joking, but his words rang true. A unique, tremendous talent with an unmatched on-screen career. Moonface, the brightest star of Australian television.
We hope Paddy and the family are feeling this love tonight and take some comfort from it. Still to come, families racing overseas to